Imagine scrolling through your feed and stumbling across a headline that stops you completely in your tracks, daring you to look at a beloved television icon in a way you never expected. For decades, Markie Post was the epitome of the vibrant, wholesome, and fiercely independent American sweetheart. From her unforgettable days commanding the courtroom on Night Court to her infectious energy on Hearts Afire, she built a career rooted in charm, intelligence, and a relatable kind of grace. But when a stunning, unfiltered photo of her surfaced, it didn't just spark a viral frenzy. It completely shattered the public's unspoken rules about how a woman in Hollywood is allowed to age. What most people don't realize is that the initial shockwave online wasn't actually about the lack of clothing. It was a reaction to the sheer, unapologetic confidence radiating from a woman who refused to be hidden away by the industry's strict expiration dates. At first glance, the internet reacted with its usual mix of gasp-inducing clickbait and hyperbole, with some critics suggesting the image was somehow inappropriate for a star of her stature. But here's where the story gets interesting. Beneath the superficial noise of social media comment sections lay a much deeper, more captivating narrative about personal freedom and the psychology of fame. Markie Post spent years navigating a Hollywood system that constantly demanded women compartmentalize themselves. You were either the youthful ingenue or the matriarch, with very little room left for raw, authentic self-expression in between. For an actor who spent a lifetime under the intense scrutiny of studio lights and public expectations, stepping in front of a camera on her own terms was a radical act of defiance. The surprising part is how the conversation shifted from cheap tabloid gossip into a massive cultural debate about beauty standards and the relentless pressure placed on female celebrities. As the photos circulated, fan opinions began to transform. The early, sensationalized reactions gave way to a wave of profound respect and collective empowerment. People started to see the image not as a scandal, but as a masterclass in resilience and reinvention. It became a viral moment that forced viewers to look in the mirror and question their own biases about aging and visibility. Why do we react with such discomfort when a mature woman claims ownership of her own body and narrative? Markie Post wasn't just posing for camera. She was quietly dismantling the outdated notion that a woman's power and allure fade after a certain chapter in life. This wasn't a desperate bid for attention, but rather a celebration of a life fully lived, scars and triumphs alike. It reminds us that behind the glossy veneer of celebrity headlines, there are real human beings fighting to maintain their personal identity in a world that constantly tries to dictate who they should be. In the end, the true impact of that viral moment has very little to do with the photo itself, and everything to do with the mirror it holds up to our society. It challenges us to embrace our own growth, to step into our own confidence without permission, and to realize that true beauty isn't defined by youth, but by the courage to stand completely exposed in your own truth.